Hey y'all. So over the past almost decade, my husband and I have been through some of the worst times financially and also some of the best times financially. We've been through layoffs and career changes and other, miscellaneous financial pitfalls. And we've also been through job promotions, raises, financial blessings. And honestly, it wouldn't be possible without being financially literate and knowing how to spend and how not to spend. Not being heavy consumers allowed us to pay off $40,000 worth of personal debt in just a year. And honestly, not being heavy consumers also allowed us to be able to live off of one income throughout our marriage. Different times, one of us would only have a job and the other person would be in the middle of jobs, in between jobs. So it allowed us to be able to live that way very comfortably. So what things are we saying no to when it comes down to spending money? What are some things that we simply don't buy that the majority of people do buy? Well, I'm gonna give y'all the tea, okay? A list of 37 things that we don't buy so that we can save our money and we can invest our money the right way. All right, so the first thing that we don't spend our money on is cable. Surprisingly, some people still have cable. A lot of people don't. A lot of, streaming is a big thing now. We have Netflix and Hulu and things like that. But cable was, I think, really the first thing that we cut out of our lives when we were starting on our financial journey. And it was a little bit hard because I grew up watching cable and having cable. And so not having access to these, all the channels was a little bit of a culture shock. But it was something that we knew we had to do. We nixed like over $100 a month just from cable. And they gave us a hard time. I mean, when we called the cable company, they did not want us to cancel our cable. So they gave us a really hard time doing it. But this was years ago. We haven't had cable in almost 10 years. So cable is one thing that we do not spend our money on. The next thing is car notes. We haven't had a car note in years as well. Not 10 years, but it's been several years. We have two cars, and then both of us have been able to pay off our cars within our marriage, within the span of a couple of years from buying it. Our cars are fairly new, so we got both of our cars a few years back. We kind of upgraded to new vehicles, and we were able to pay both of our cars off within like maybe I would think about 2 years from buying them. So we don't have any car notes. Another thing that we don't spend our money on regarding cars is car upgrades. A lot of people like spending money on their cars. They like buying the bells and whistles and all this stuff to make their cars look good and to trick their cars out. We don't do any of that. Just a simple basic maintenance, and that's it. The next thing that I don't buy personally, and I know my husband definitely doesn't buy personally, often at least, is clothes and shoes. Maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, I might go out and buy clothes. But usually if I do buy clothes, I go to the thrift store. Okay, there's this thrift store in our area, and it's very inexpensive, obviously, because it's thrift. And I like it anyway because you get one-of-a-kind clothing and whatnot, but I don't go shopping. That's just something that I do not spend my money on, is clothes or shoes shopping. The next thing, and this is a doozy for a lot of people, I don't buy Starbucks. No Starbucks for me. I'm not interested in buying a cup of coffee for $5 every day. I'm sorry, it's bougie and it's just unnecessary. If I need coffee, either I make it at home or I go to my local coffee shop. It's much cheaper, much more affordable. Starbucks is overrated anyway. Miss me with that, okay? No Starbucks in this house. And then the next thing that we don't spend our money on is Uber Eats or Grubhub. Those like food delivery services. Never, okay? The only time that we've actually used these services is if we got like gift cards from other people as like gifts. But otherwise, I'm not going to spend my money to buy food just to get it delivered to me and spend like way more money than if I were to just go drive there myself and pick it up. No, I'm not going to do that. So no Uber Eats for us. Also, we don't spend our money on Uber and Lyft as well. So like ride sharing, we don't ever ride share. It's not necessary. I mean, there's just really no reason why we can't just drive our own cars to wherever we need to go. So no Uber or Lyft for us either. We don't spend our money on haircuts or styling. If you notice, I have locks and I maintain my own locks myself. I retwist my locks, every 10 weeks on my own. I don't have a loctician. I even install the locks on my own as well. So I don't have a loctician. My husband doesn't have a barber. He cuts his own hair. We're good on that, okay? So no hairstyling or haircuts. We don't spend any money on that. All right. The next thing that I don't spend money on is nails. I don't go to the nail shop. If I really feel like I want to, beautify my nails, I'll just get some press-ons from the store and do press-ons for myself. Like I don't spend money on nails. So yeah, but I won't go to the nail shop and get my nails done professionally. I'll just use my own press-ons if I even do my nails. So no nails. And that could add up because going to the nail shop is expensive these days. Like I've heard women pay upwards of $50 each time they go and get their nails done, and that's like every 2 weeks. That's an expense. That's a huge expense. No, I don't spend money on getting my nails done professionally at all. Vacations is another thing, which kind of sucks because we really love to travel. But if we do go on vacation, it's usually maybe once a year. And it could be twice a year depending on how our year was financially. We might go somewhere local or we might have like a little weekend getaway. But for the most part, we don't go on vacations often. We just don't. If we want to do something special, we'll usually do something in town. And there's always a lot to do where we are, so it's no big deal. But yeah, we don't spend money on a lot of vacations. So it's a sacrifice to be able to be financially free and financially stable, but it's worth it in the long run. Another thing we don't spend money on is unnecessary subscriptions. A lot of people like subscriptions to stuff. Like it could be like, meal delivery services that like you have subscribed to. So you pay like a monthly fee and then they'll send you, food and stuff that you make at home or whatever, that type of stuff. Or just like there's subscriptions for everything, like makeup, even clothing subscriptions or just like whatever. We don't spend money on things like that. We don't sign up for stuff that makes us pay like a bill every month for, unless it's Netflix or like Hulu. We do have that. So we do have some streaming services, but for the most part, we don't have like those like delivery subscriptions that people get on just like for various different things. We don't spend money on that. Another thing is unnecessary accessories like jewelry. I don't buy, handbags and jewelry to go with my clothes or anything like that. We don't do extra stuff like that. No accessories. Another thing that we don't spend money on is tech gadgets, iPhone upgrades, iPads, whatever other tech there is. We have the bare essentials. So we have a laptop, we have a computer, of course, we have phones. I have a camera that I use to record my videos and stuff, but like I'm not like a really tech person, so I don't like buy, gadgets and things like that. It could add up, the stuff is expensive, so we don't buy that. Another thing we don't spend money on is holiday decor. I like, a very simple home, but I like art, so I like art pieces on my wall, and I like plants and things like that. But I don't spend extra money on holiday decor, like decorating for Easter or Christmas and stuff. I don't care about that anyway, so I'm not decorating my house for all those things. I'm saving my money. No Christmas trees. It's controversial, but I'm not spending my money on that. So no holiday decor. Another thing that we don't spend our money on is pet stuff because we don't have pets. So that's a huge expense that we don't have to worry about. No pet stuff. Also, no kid stuff because we don't have kids. So we're not spending money on, food for babies or kids or, clothing and things like that. No, babysitter or no like schools or school fees or daycares or anything like that. So that's an expense that we don't have to worry about spending our money on right now because we don't have kids. Another thing is gym memberships. We don't go to the gym. We have a home gym in our garage, and that's all we really need. I mean, it's fun sometimes to go to the gym to be around other people, but we have all of our equipment here at the house. It's really unnecessary to have to go to the gym and pay a membership fee. So we have all of our equipment here. We work out here. It's easy. Very simple. Another thing that we used to not have to spend our money on, but recently we have, is toothpaste. I was trying to I was trying to DIY our own toothpaste. So I was trying to create homemade toothpaste. And a lot of people do this. And I tried to do this actually recently here, about like a week ago. And I got all the necessary supplies to make our own toothpaste. And it just did not turn out to be very good. So I guess I should take that off the list. But we were planning on not having to spend money on toothpaste. It's not really expensive to buy. But see, the thing is that I like fluoride-free toothpaste. So I like natural toothpaste. I don't want to buy like, your Crest and things like that. I like to buy like natural toothpaste, and those types of toothpastes are a lot more expensive than just your regular, Crest type of, normal toothpaste. So I wanted to make my own, and it really didn't work out the way I wanted it to. It was kind of disgusting. So we do spend money on toothpaste now. So I guess I should probably take that off the list. But hey, if you wanted to save money on toothpaste, not have to spend like $5 something a tube, then you can make your own DIY toothpaste. Okay, the next thing is laundry detergent as well. DIYing our own laundry detergent is going to be a game changer. That's another thing that we're planning on doing. So it's because, I like to use natural, less chemicals as possible in my household products, the things that I'm washing my clothes with, I'm brushing my teeth with, and things like that. So I'm trying to make my own, and that's gonna save a lot of money. So those two things, DIY toothpaste and DIY laundry detergent, can really take some coins off of your grocery bill if you want to do that. It's a good idea. Another thing, I think I mentioned this before, but it's actually specifically meal kit services. So like I said, when you get those meals that are delivered to your house that are already made, so you don't have to make them yourself, we don't do anything like that. Yeah, we save our money on that. Another thing is handbags. I know I mentioned that with the accessories, but handbags by itself, I just don't buy handbags like that. So a lot of women do. A lot of women love purses. I don't buy handbags. Another thing is our hair tools. I don't spend money on hair tools. Again, I'm locked. I don't have to buy like flat irons or hair curlers or things like that. So, and I also don't have to spend a lot of money on like, like conditioners and oils and things like that, or like just hair mousse and stuff like that you put in your hair. I don't have to do that. So I save money that way. Another thing are AirPods. That could go under the tech category, but I think it was worth like mentioning by itself, because a lot of people use AirPods nowadays. They like those different gadgets and accessories for their phones, and we don't use those. We don't buy those. We just use simple earphones, wire earphones that you can buy from Five Below. Very simple, for $5, and that's it. Another thing are tumblers. I don't buy a lot of tumblers for like, I do have one of these. This is like the first tumbler I bought in literally like 5 years or something like that. I never even had one. Yeah, so we don't really spend a lot of money on tumblers. I think a lot of people like buying those, I have one and that's it. A lot of people collect those things. I don't. Just one is enough. One is good enough. The next thing that we don't spend our money on are extended warranties. Warranties for things like your stove or your refrigerator or your household appliances, warranties for your car or whatever you have insured, whatever could have a warranty for it. We never buy a warranty. We never sign up for a warranty. Now that could be good and bad, because sometimes warranties do come in handy when something breaks, right? But then if it doesn't break, you're just spending that additional money every month on something that you're just not really even need, you don't even really need. So we, instead of doing that, what we do is we just save our money on the back end, and if something breaks, we have money that's been saved that we can use to pay for it, to pay to fix it. Very simple. Another thing is timeshares. I don't know if you are aware, because I don't know if you're Gen Z, then you may not know what a timeshare is, or you might know. I mean, I think they're still around. I don't know if they're as popular as they once were. I remember back in the day when I was younger, me and my parents, we would always vacation every year, and we would use timeshares because we would get like free tickets to Disney World or to Universal Studios by just sitting there and listening to a timeshare presentation. What it is basically you go to like a resort or a hotel. Usually it's a resort, and they'll present to you the different packages that they have for you to purchase, that you can like get like rooms anytime you want to go on vacation for a lot cheaper than typical. So, but you just pay for it every month. And you get to have like an all-inclusive, timeshare type thing where you can go and you can stay. It's really cheap because you've been paying for it every month. But we never really bought into it because we didn't really care to do that. All we did was sit there and listen to the presentation, because at the end they would give you gifts for sitting there and listening to their presentation. Presentation's usually like an hour to 2 hours long. Sometimes it could be even longer than that because they want to really show you everything, all the accommodations and stuff. But if you sit through the whole entire presentation, they'll give you like free tickets to like Disney World, or, you know, free, you know, fancy steak restaurant, you know, money for that, or just money in general. But we don't buy timeshares. Long story short, we don't buy things like that. So no timeshares for us. The next thing we don't have is a pool, so we don't have to worry about pool maintenance, pool supplies, paying money for that, fixing the pool up. We don't have to worry about that because we don't have a pool, so that saves money. Or a hot tub. We also don't have a hot tub, so we don't have to worry about maintenance for that either. Also, we don't spend money on collectibles. Some people have collections of things that they like to spend money on. That doesn't happen here. Only thing I can say that we kind of collect, which is not even a lot, is plants. But I don't have a whole bunch of plants anyway, so if I were to collect something, it would be plants. And actually, plants can be kind of expensive, so but we don't really buy a ton of plants. But if I were to collect something, it'd be plants. Another thing we don't spend money on are the as seen on TV products. QVC and all that type of stuff. I don't buy anything like that. I'm not an impulse buyer, so again, we're not really, you know, consumers in that respect. So we don't really buy just stuff we see on TV all the time, you know. But as seen on TV, those types of things, which some of those things are kind of cool, but we don't spend money on that. Another thing we don't spend money on is Girl Scout cookies. Now we're getting into like the more random stuff, so just bear with me. I had to really kind of think about a list of, I was trying to get a list of 50 things, but I was kind of stretching it a little bit. So it was a little hard to come up with a list of 37 things, but Girl Scout cookies, I think I thought about that because recently somebody came up to us trying to sell, not Girl Scout cookies, but they came up to us trying to sell like those bars of chocolate. A little girl, she was about like maybe 12 or something like that, 12, 13, but she was trying to sell us a box, one of those, like, you know, those chocolate bars. And we were in an academy, and my husband was like, how much is one? How much is it for one? She was like, $8. We were like, what? $8 for one bar of chocolate? I remember when back in the day when I was younger and we were selling those things, it was not $8. It was like $1 for one bar of chocolate. They went up all the way to $8. That inflation is real. $8. From $1 to $8. Inflation is real. So we don't buy stuff like that. I felt kind of bad too. So I was like, girl, nah, man, I can't do it. I'm sorry. So we don't buy Girl Scout cookies or things like that unless it's like $1. Then of course we'll buy it to help out, but nothing more than $1. $8 is ridiculous. The next thing we don't spend money on is eating out on a daily basis. Some people eat out daily. We like to, our max is 2 days a week, and sometimes that's even stretching it. So usually it's just maybe once. We try not to eat out as much as possible because it's a huge money suck. It sucks your money quick. And nowadays I feel like restaurants are like way more expensive, even like fast food. We don't really eat fast food, but I remember one of the last times that I went somewhere to get fast food, it was way more money than I remember it being. So definitely don't eat out on a regular basis. We save our money and I cook at home. Another thing that we don't spend money on are season tickets. I like going to the Astros games. We've been to several of them before, and it's fun. It can be a lot of fun, but I would never buy season tickets to go see, you know, a season of sports games, you know, football, whatever. No, that's something we don't spend our money on. Another thing we don't spend our money on is concerts. Listen, I love music, but live music and spending money on concerts is no. It is overrated, and I'm not gonna do it. I will listen to your album on, you know, Apple Play or whatever, Apple Music or YouTube. I don't need to go and see you live in concert for a sum of $200. I mean, these artists nowadays have been charging tons of money to go see their music live in concert. Like Beyonce's tickets. I mean, I'm like, what the heck? I forgot what, there was some, not just Beyonce, but there was several other artists that were like charging $500 or something like that to see them in concert. I'm like, no, never. So no concerts for us, unless it's just like a really good deal or something, or unless it's someone who we really would love to see. I'm saving my money for that. The next thing I don't spend my money on is cosmetic maintenance. No Botox, no fillers, no, like, I don't get facials and things like that. I'm a real low maintenance type of gal, okay? I do my own skincare, which is really minimal. I don't really do much. And I don't really care about maintaining this. I mean, you know, I care health-wise, but I'm not gonna spend extra money on Botox and lip filler and things like that. That can be a huge expense, and I'm saving my money. But that's just me. No shade if that's what you do, no judgment, that's just me. Another thing I don't spend my money on is fad health trends, like chirotherapy and stuff like that, or like, what do? They get like those vitamin injections and things. That's unnecessary. I take my vitamins, but I don't need to get it injected into my veins for hundreds of dollars. I'm not gonna do it. So the last thing that we don't spend our money on, which is kind of random and like, I don't even really know how I came up. I should have probably categorized the list a little bit better because I'm just all over the place. Girl Scout cookies, concerts. But the last thing on the list that we don't spend our money on is microwaves. We don't have a microwave. Not that it's expensive to buy a microwave, because nowadays you could probably buy one for a lot less than, you could probably buy a microwave for like less than $50 nowadays. Not expensive, but we just don't buy a microwave. We don't buy microwaves. We warm our food up in the oven. We have a little toaster oven that we warm up food, we can use to warm up our food as well. But we don't have microwaves. We don't really spend a lot of our money on those little kitchen gadgets and appliances unless they're useful, unless we really need them. Anyway, that is the list of 37 things. I believe it's 37. The last time I did this list, I think I counted 37. But if you like this video and you want more things, you want me to come up with more things that we don't spend our money on, because I'm sure there's more, but like I try to like think about all the things. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to spend money to live in this world. So you're gonna have to buy certain things and do certain things, but we try to keep it minimal. We try not to spend our money on extra stuff that's just not necessary. That's the key to all of this. The list that I just shared with you guys, most of those things, and not all those things, are completely unnecessary, except for toothpaste and laundry detergent. That's necessary. But everything else is kind of like, you don't really, or in cars as well. You need a car. Well, you don't need a car, actually. You can take the bus, or you can ride your bike, or walk. Except if you were in a city that you couldn't do that. Like Houston is a pretty large city, so you probably shouldn't walk places. But the majority of the things on the list are things that you don't necessarily need. And does it make life boring? No. There's so many things you can do to enjoy your life. And I'm not saying that you can't ever, go to a concert and spend money on a concert if you want, but just be like smart with your money. If there's a concert that you want to go to and it's super expensive, save your money beforehand so that you aren't worried about, coming up with all of that money at one time, and you're not overextending your budget. You won't want to go over your budget. Choose certain things in your life that you do enjoy doing that you can't live without, and then put that in your budget. Have a budget for those things. Like we have a budget for eating out. Even though we try to eat out more than once a week, we do have a budget for like miscellaneous things that it may include eating out or like date nights. And so we have that in our budget so that, hey, we know we have this much to spend every month. And so that, whatever we want to do, we just have to make sure that it falls within that amount. Sometimes we might do one big thing and it might take up the whole budget for that month, and that's fine. So you just choose what you want to do, but always have a budget and have an understanding of how much money you're going to spend on certain things. And you'll be able to do a lot more with your finances. You'll be able to save a lot more. You'll be able to invest a lot more, and you'll be able to pay off a lot more debt, and then get closer to that financial freedom that we really want in our lives. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. Let me know how many things you can relate to in my list of things that I don't spend money on. What kind of things are you not spending your money on that most people are spending their money on? Share with me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe if you want to join the tea party, help your girl out. And until next time, y'all, bye.